Well, good day, everyone, or matter of fact, great day. This is For Another Day podcast. I am Rick, and I am here today to talk to you about the selfish me. Not sure if that's you? Let's take a look. So, today we're going to be taking a look at an article. Selflessness and feeling in harmony with others coincides with greater happiness. So, let's kind of take a step back first, though. Let's really look at what our priorities are today. Oftentimes in the counseling office, I get asked, Rick, is this selfish of me to want this? Is this selfish of me to need this? Can my spouse change? Should I want my spouse to change? Is that selfish if I ask them to change? And so as we look at this concept of me, it really becomes a generation and a culture of of individualism. And this has started even before postmodernism came into effect. We really started looking at how does the I affect, the me affect. And sometimes when it gets clouded, we don't look at how it affects others around us. We don't live in a vacuum or a bubble. By the contrary, we interact with people. We interact with their needs. And so we come to realize that sometimes the we is more important. Other times, the I is more important. Oftentimes when you get on board an airplane, they have a pre-flight and they talk about fasten your safety belts before taking off. And this is how you do it. But they also say, should there be a change in cabin pressure, 4 oxygen masks will drop down from the ceiling. Put your mask on first before helping those around you. But in today's culture, we don't look at that. We go, go, go. Our typical schedules are so very busy. We're worrying about what others need, our children, our classes. What is it that is going to take our priority, our job and career? And until you're able to actually slow down and realize that there are some basic needs that you need to take care of yourself first before being able to help and please other people, you're not going to be able to provide quality assistance. You're not going to be able to do those things without it wearing on yourself. So I ask you, how do you unplug? What does it take to recharge you? Oftentimes in the counseling room, we talk about these things and we talk about what it takes to build back. And by building back, sometimes those things that can help us, exercise, eating right, taking time for oneself, don't look like viable opportunities or chances. Those moments are more of the high protein steak diet that we aren't willing to sit down and eat. Instead, we'd grab a candy bar and just go on the run. But what really fuels you up? What gives you the most calories and bangs for your buck? Is it exercise? And so for you, going out for a run not only gives you that clear head and peace of mind, but it also exercises your heart and your body. Maybe for others, it's just going and listening to your favorite playlist for a little bit and giving yourself those priorities of peace and calm, less anxieties, less stress about what is the next thing to do. Because once you come out of those times to recharge, to fuel up, it goes back to plain taxi service, helping with homework, and truly helping 10 other people with their needs rather than your own. But maybe, just maybe, you can learn to say no. You can learn to limit your interactions so that your battery is not running at 7%. Clients, when they come in as couples for couples counseling, when I ask them about their busy schedules, it's like, what do you have to give your spouse? More times than not, they say nothing. By the time we finish what we're doing, by the time we get ready for the next day, by the time we have our heads hit the pillow, I'm drained. I'm done. I'm ready for that to be done with for the day. I don't really want to talk about anything. And so for couples that I work with, it becomes one of those that, well, maybe you need to give your spouse something when your battery's above 20%. Because if you don't do anything for the relationship, it will falter, it will fail, and you will tear yourselves apart. And so when I labeled this as selfish me, I want you to realize, especially if you're in a relationship with another person, there are certain aspects that you need self-care with. There are certain aspects that your partner needs with self-care. And there are certain aspects that you two as a couple need with we care, not just self-care. And so if you aren't able to figure those out, I encourage you, seek counseling, seek help, seek another set of eyes and ears to listen and to come up with ideas that can truly help you, nurture you, encourage you, strengthen you with your relationship. So let's take a look at what this article has to say. Whenever you need a cup of coffee that's always smooth and never bitter, try Cameron's Coffee. It's the closest I've personally found to the perfect roast. There are so many flavors to choose, but I always seem to reach for the breakfast blend. And for those busy weekday mornings, try the EcoPods. Click the link below to order yours today. So this article, once again, comes out of scipost.org. It was listed on October 25th, 2021. And the title reads, Selflessness and Feeling in Harmony with Others Coincides with Greater Happiness. So this study was published in the Journal of Individual Differences, and it suggests that there's more to happiness than feeling satisfied with one's own life. The study found that experiencing the self as interdependent, dependent upon each other, coincided with increased happiness through feeling greater harmony with others. So it's commonly held that a person's happiness depends on their evaluation of their life and their well-being. But this study, they wanted to check an alternative model here. And this approach maintained that selflessness and self-centeredness are actually two aspects of self-based psychological functioning that can carry different consequences for happiness. So they said here in an interview, as Westerners, we tend to believe that the source of happiness is limited to an accumulation of pleasure and resources and satisfaction of needs or achievements that we reach in our life. However, the pursuit of pleasures and achievements could diminish the quality and stability of our happiness in many ways, especially when the person is strongly egocentric. That is, when they're strongly preoccupied with their own happiness. So the more a person craves his or her own happiness, the more unhappy he or she will be when bad things happen, and they are less satisfied than, of course, when good things happen. So self-centeredness, it involves the feeling of being independent and autonomous. This mindset involves seeking pleasure by maximizing the positive outcomes for oneself. And so our happiness is dependent on external things, on external stimuli. On the other hand, selflessness and the feeling of being interdependent promotes lasting happiness, since one's happiness is no longer dictated by external events. It's been proposed that selflessness gives rise to feeling of harmony, inner peace, and what they call authentic, durable happiness. So they decided to test this out. They had 64 adults who completed short questionnaires 5 times a day via their smartphone for 2 days. The range in adults were from 18 to 62. 81% of them were women and French. So from this study, they found that the participants indicated the extent for which they felt inner peace and contentment, which is that authentic happiness. They were also asked to assess their feelings on oneness, on how they perceived body boundaries, and even their connectedness with others. So from this study, they said, first they found that all three variables, authentic happiness, feeling harmony, and selflessness, were positively related, so they were connected. Next, it was revealed that higher selflessness predicted greater happiness. That is, the more the respondent reported feeling selfless, the more happy they tended to report. Feeling in harmony with others also positively predicted happiness. Moreover, Harmony explained 86% of the total effects between selflessness and happiness. So, this study shows that there is a link in the way we experience selflessness and happiness. In simple terms, seeing ourselves to be separated from others and our environment, those experiences of self-centeredness, was linked to lower happiness, whereas seeing ourselves to be closely linked to others and to the world and being able to experience selflessness was linked to higher happiness. It also appeared that when individuals experienced selflessness, they felt a sense of harmony with others and with themselves. Real dark chocolate and pretzel protein bars that both taste great and nourish us. Nugo offers so many types of bars and cookies for your enjoyment, but I always stick with the best. Plus, it's gluten-free. Click the link below to order yours today. So what does this mean for you and me? Because you can't draw a straight correlation from this. And of course, they are encouraging more research to be done. But we're coming out of a period of grief, of sorrow, of isolation, with a pandemic where we didn't know what tomorrow would bring. We didn't know where our happiness could come from. We didn't have the interconnectedness that we should have. We're a modern society today. A modern society that can easily pick up the phone and still call someone, still text someone, or have a video call. But technology, to the extent of our mental health, did not fare the way we thought it would. It brought us further from others. It brought us into isolation. It kept us in our bedrooms, our apartments, our houses, and didn't allow us to go out, to make those connections with others and to feel part of a greater good. A society that is changing, a society that has positives. What we've been fed through media shows the bad. Once had a boss who used to have the news on TV in the background all the time. He wouldn't shut it off, even for some meetings. But what's perpetuated again and again is not the positives that build us up, the positives that happen. Instead, it's the negatives. It's where there was just a shooting, or where there was just another car accident, or where there was just something that just happened. That's not how we need to live. We need to live by what brings us together. Those common characteristics of happiness that reigns supreme, whether we're black, white, brown, whatever. We're all humans, struggling, hopefully striving, and wanting to make a difference and a good for others and not just ourselves. I'd be interested to know in the comments below, after you've liked and subscribed to this podcast, let me know how you make a difference in other people's lives, how you have that interconnectedness with others, and what you do. How happy do you feel? On a scale of 1 to 10 right now, what number would you give to your happiness? 10 being the highest, 10 being elated and jumping for joy, and 0 being absent, as darkness is the absence of light. Is it truly a 0 for you? If it is, get help, change. Look at what a difference tomorrow can bring. This is now the end of January. Almost a whole month has passed us by. And in essence, it's been a blink of an eye. It's given us new perspectives, new challenges. But what do you do now? So many people start off January like we did at the beginning of this podcast series. Of those resolutions that you're looking at changing in your life, but instead taking it to the next level. Taking it to what are those good things, those blessings in your life, those positives that make such a difference to recognize. But now as we enter into February, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep down the same rut that unfortunately didn't happen the way that you thought it would? Or are you going to make February even better than January? Are you going to realize that friends, true friends, can make a difference in your life? That your value of life and others' value of human life really, truly matter. That our beauty is not just skin deep, but instead there are things that attract us in our culture today to others, both in friendship and in romance. These were just some of the topics from the podcast for the month of January. And trust me, February's lineup is just as promising and positive. I'd love to hear your comments down below. As always, continue to change, continue to improve. For another day podcast, I am Rick, and I'm here to help.
I also want to give a shout out to our listeners in Boardman, Oregon and Broomfield, Colorado. Thank you so much for your support and continue to share this podcast with others.